So as usual, minding my own TikTok business, I came across this. Why would God create a variety of people to choose a group of people? This is a very interesting question, so I'll do my best to break it down as clear as possible. So firstly, the word God came from the word Gad, who is Gaduel, the angel that came down from heaven and deceived Eve. And how was Eve deceived exactly? It was definitely not by picking a fruit. If you read the book of Targums, a book that the Helios Biblos did not include, Helios Biblos, which means sun book and in English means Holy Bible, it stated that Eve had sex with the angel Gaduel, or what we call Lucifer. And this was new to her, so she then showed Adam what to do. In doing so, she became pregnant with both the angel's seed and Adam's seed, bearing twins, but not twins by blood. So she had two bloodlines growing inside her. Two bloodlines, one of the angel's bloodline and one of the human's bloodline. And that was just the beginning of variety. So in my last video, I stated that Eve was pregnant with twins, one from the angel bloodline and the other from the human bloodline. Something peculiar happened when our human DNA mixed with angel DNA. The essence or the nature of that being was evil, as it was not created by the Most High. So the spirit of Cain became wicked and evil. In the book of Targums, it gives you more on the story. You would not find it in the Helios Biblos. So in the book of Targums, they had to make a sacrifice to the Creator. What the Helios Biblos did not put in was that Cain chose the worst vegetables to bring before the Most High, while Abel chose the best and fattest of his flock to bring before the Most High. And because he is of a wicked spirit by nature and greed and everything wicked and evil, he brought rotten to no good fruit, the ones that he did not want before the Most High. And that is why his sacrifice was rejected. And because Cain was of a wicked nature, he then killed Abel, or had the capacity to kill, because it is in his nature. It is his bloodline. When the Most High found out what Cain had done, the Most High cursed Cain, and he was led out. But he told the Most High that they will kill him. Who is they if he only created Adam and Eve? In the beginning, the Most High had said, "Let us make men." He was talking to the children in heaven, the angels. So they also made their versions of people. And the Most High made the human bloodline. The human bloodline in his image. In this video, I'll be talking about why the flood happened. So most of you might have known that the flood happened because evil was increased upon the earth. But before we get to that part, we are missing a huge chunk of the story. In my previous videos, I mentioned how angel DNA mixed with human DNA created an evil nature and attributes. I also mentioned when the Most High said, "Let us make men," he was speaking to the children in heaven. The angels created men and the Most High created man in his image. The men the angels created were the Neanderthals. When Cain had to leave from before the Most High, he went with the Neanderthals. Only then they had the capacity to build, and then they built a city. They were called the Canaanites, and those are Cain's sons and daughters, not the pure bloodline that is Adam and Eve that the Most High made. Or human, if you want to call it that. So from generation to generation, the children in heaven saw the women on earth and lusted after them because they were so beautiful. And one of the angels, Azazel, who is over 200 angels, decided to come down to earth. Come down to earth and have a little fun. So when the angels came down, they taught mankind how to create swords, how women could paint their eyelashes and do makeup, and all of the secrets in heaven, including taking wives for themselves. And when they took wives for themselves, the wives became pregnant, and their offspring, mixture, was of course evil in nature. And not only that, they were giants. This is how giants came upon the earth. Giants were wicked in nature. They also ate animals and human beings. Just pluck them off a tree and pick them like a cherry. The first offspring of the giants were said to be as tall as the skyscrapers in New York City. With each generation, they became smaller and smaller. It was almost like a filtering of the blood. But they were still wicked by nature, and that is how evil increased on the earth, because then everyone got mixed and corrupted with them. Mankind had become corrupted, evil in nature, and sin had increased upon the earth. Everyone was corrupted except for a man called Noah. He was pure human. He walked good in the Most High's eyes. This is why the Most High chose Noah. The Most High is merciful and also told Noah to give the people 128 years to warn them to change their evil ways, or the flood will come upon them. But because of their corruption, they would not change and they would not listen to Noah's warnings. So when the flood came, Noah and his wives and his sons wives were on the boat. And after the flood, those are who repopulated the earth. But remember, everyone was corrupted on the earth. Therefore, Noah's wife was also corrupted. And Noah's sons' wives were also corrupted. Corrupted meaning having that blood mixture dominant in their genes. The mixture that makes you be evil in nature. Some more, some less. And remember when Cain killed Abel? Well, they had a scripture when the Most High said that Abel's blood crieth from the earth, because life is in the blood. Which means the angel blood survived. The angel's nature survived. And this is how the beginning of the children of Israel will come into play. In this video, I'll be speaking about why the Israelites came into being. So we're going to start with Noah's family after the flood. So here is a chart, and you can find the family line in Genesis 10. As you know, the children of Israel came from Shem's bloodline, then Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But why didn't the Creator choose Ham or Japheth? You can also read Genesis 10. You would see Gog or Magog. Those are giants, which means the angel corruption was dominant in his genes. And in Ham's line, you had Nimrod, also a giant. He could do mighty spells and also created a city called Babel or Baal. And that is very important to remember, because I will discuss that in the future. But in Shem's line, no giants were dominant. Therefore, the Creator chose this line because it was most human. With still many purging to go, so the Creator, after many generations, chose Abram. And the Most High called him Abraham. Each person the Most High selected was more human with less angel corruption. But once their blood is mixed, it can't be unmixed that easy. Therefore, we could still have the nature of doing evil things and having evil ways. The next person he selected was Isaac, closest to human. And then a juicy bit happened. The Most High chose Jacob, but Jacob's story is very interesting. Just like Eve had two bloodlines in her womb, so did Jacob's mother, Jacob and Esau. It was a reason for this. One son had mostly human DNA and the other son had mostly angel DNA. It was basically a purging of the blood. If you know how the story goes, this is why Esau came out white. Most of the angel DNA was concentrated into that vessel, the human vessel. Because remember, life is in the blood. And only then did the Creator created the children of Israel, the people who he wanted to serve him. The human DNA, the ones he created, the race he created. So if you were following this mini-series, you would know that we spoke about when human and angel DNA mix, the essence that come from the mixture. It creates evil in attributes. In my last video, I discussed why the Most High chose the Israelites. It was because they were the most human. But they had traces of that angel gene, which means they still had the evil attributes. This is why the Creator gave us the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments is basically a manual on how to do good upon the earth. And because there will be a judgment, having the 10 Commandments is used as a guide to make sure that you don't fall short in sin and doing evil. The Creator describes that evil is anything that goes against the laws, commandments, and statutes. He gave the Israelites, the most human, these laws to keep. And the Creator said, the duty of man, the reason man was created, was to serve him, the Most High. So once the bloodline was filtered as much as possible, he then chose the Israelites to do so. Serve him. That is man. But he didn't just choose them, he made a covenant with that bloodline. So after many generations, in Moses' time, the Creator made that covenant. Not just any covenant, a blood covenant. A covenant that cannot be broken. In modern day terms, people will call it a contract or a soul contract. A contract that also came with terms and conditions, such as blessings and such as curses. You would get blessings within this contract if you carry out the 10 Commandments, laws, and statutes. And the curses in the contract will come about if you do not keep the laws, commandments, and statutes. And because Israelites had that incy bits of angel DNA, we were still prone to sin. Therefore, we failed, and the curses came upon us. But that is for a different discussion. So when I initially started this series, it was because of this comment and the Creator making variety of people. So to answer your question, the Creator did not make variety of people. The Creator made the human race, the human bloodline. And variety came by the mixing of the human bloodline, not by the Most High.
A lot of good going to come out of it. But you can also make what is called germline modifications to any living species with CRISPR technology and what is called gene drive technology, which means you could create a version of humanity that has germline level changes that will be passed forward into every preceding generation, which will allow you to drive out of existence any previous form of a life, a human, an animal, or whatever, and replace it with a new version that you have created through genetic engineering. So this right here, this represents, and these little vials, they represent a technology that I don't think has existed since the day of the Watchers, when all flesh became corrupt.
Right.
When animals and mankind both were modified in a way that everything being born down line was changed in the way that the Watchers wanted. By making humans inhuman, making them something that God did not make, and then the bloodline couldn't be preserved. Anyway, this is where we are today. Human-animal chimeras being created in laboratories all around the world, including in the United States, tens of thousands of laboratories. Models are being made, and the big question of, are we also going to use animal material integrated with humans, not just for pharmaceutical purposes, right, like they're doing today, which is mostly what's driving it, but do we imagine that we can make humans entirely something different? Is that what China is doing now? We have intelligence that says this is true, and the Jasons, who are the most prestigious scientific body in the world that offers advice to the Pentagon, the Department of Defense. They say this is the new arms race.
Wow.
That in the same way that America competed with the old Soviet Union during the Cold War
Right.
for nuclear supremacy, this is it, and we have to get ahead of it, whether we like it or not. Whether our ethicists tell us that it's a bad idea, we have to do it, otherwise we are going to be dominated.
Yeah.
In this video, we'll be speaking about why people worship the devil. In my previous video, I was speaking about the children of Israel and why they were chosen to be the people of the Most High. It was because they were the most human. As I discussed in my previous video, Jacob was renamed Israel because he had the most human DNA. Only then did the Creator created the children of Israel, because the duty of man is to serve the Most High. Esau, his twin, had more concentrated angel DNA. That is why he was not chosen. Esau then mixed with the other nations and became the progenitor of the Gentiles. Because of that, more angel concentrated DNA was focused on these other races. Not humans. Look human, but not human by blood. So Esau mixed with the other nations. But look at Lot's case. That created a totally different race as well. As you can see, Lot is not in the bloodline area of the human race. Lot's daughters had intercourse with him because they thought they were the only people left. That bloodline mixture created a new race. In modern day terms, it would have been called Down syndrome. These people went on after generation to generation, became the Asian community. This is because father and daughter created offspring. These people are known as Moab or Moabites. Some more on these people in the future. And I want you to remember this. The reason for man was to serve the Most High. And we are speaking about why people serve the devil. So as we discussed, the other races, or the Gentile races, are more angel DNA than human DNA. Did I forget to mention? Devil actually means to deceive, and that is a key part in why they serve the devil. Satan is not one character, they are Satans. Beings used to deceive, beings being the devil. I discussed two bloodlines, one of human and one of angel. And we know man, the human DNA, was created to serve the Most High. So let's backtrack a bit to when the angels came down from heaven and took wives. They didn't only take wives, but they taught the secret things in heaven. This created much sin on the earth. A judgment was set forth to these angels. In the book of Enoch, you can see what their judgment was. This is very important to know because the judgment was not only for the angels but for the offspring. And like I said in plenty of my previous videos, the life is in the blood, which means the judgment gone forth is for their bloodline. The Most High explains that this judgment is forever. In the book of remembrance, a small portion known as the Old Testament, the Most High says he does not lie and he does not change. Therefore, the judgment of the angels and their offspring set forever. And since Esau had the more angel DNA and mixed with the other races and became the progenitor of the Gentiles, the angel DNA was more concentrated in this area, the other races. The angel bloodline that survived is mostly angel DNA with very, very few bits of human DNA. That is the bloodline who will be judged with the fallen angels. And like I said previously, their judgment is in the book of Enoch. In my previous videos, I also mentioned Nimrod, a mighty giant. He could do mighty spells and created the city called Babel or Baal. Baal is a deity they serve because of Nimrod's genes. Because Esau then mixed with the other nations, the angel DNA was concentrated into this area, the Gentiles. This is why there are 13 bloodlines. This is why they serve Baal. People called him the devil. But as you know, devil means to deceive. Also remember I said the duty of man is to serve the Most High. These people are not human. They serve their ancestors because they know what their judgment is. Their duty is not to serve the Most High. And if you remember in my bloodline series, I spoke about when angel DNA mixed with human DNA, it created evil in attributes. The essence, the nature of them were evil. If you read the book of Enoch, it gives you an example of what they did when they were upon the earth, including eating animals and human. They also devoured themselves. And when I said animals, I meant raw animals and raw humans and drinking their blood. It was in their nature. And I'm sure you heard a lot of conspiracy theories talking about how the elites eat babies and drink their bloods. That is because it is in their nature. Just like a lion eats a gazelle. It is in their bloodline. And because they know their judgment, and the Most High said he will show them no mercy, and they are evil and wicked beings, for them it is, why not? They basically do what they feel like. Because they are evil in essence. That is the blood running through their veins. This is why the Most High told the children of Israel to do not mix. And this is why the 13 bloodlines today are promoting interracial dating. So the devil they really serve is basically their ancestors. The devil is to deceive, and what they are doing is deceiving people. They hate human beings. One of the reasons they hate human beings is because human beings have a chance for everlasting life. Like I said, if you look at the book of Enoch, you would see their judgment. When a spirit dies, it goes above and returns to the Most High who gave it. When the spirits of the nephilim dies, it stays here on earth, and the Most High renamed their spirits as evil spirits. Evil spirits and demons are two totally different things. Evil spirits are the offspring of the nephilim. So when people talk about reptilians, I guess you could say so. Have you ever wondered why black people season their meat? Why white people barely season theirs? Why Asians eat the worst things ever? As you know, Jacob and Esau were twins. Twins with two different bloodlines. One, Jacob, had the more human bloodline, and Esau had the more angel bloodline. Esau then mixed with the other races and became the progenitor of the Gentiles. Esau was said to come out hairy and white, with red skin. When a white baby is born, they look red or purple. And remember Lot and Lot's daughters? Their offspring came out Down syndrome, and that is why they became the Asian community. So as for Lot, this is the amount of human DNA that spread off before it went, which means in Lot's bloodline did not fully complete the human purge. And since Esau then mixed with the other races, and his blood was mostly angel DNA, the traits and nature went along with it. And remember, the Nephilim ate animals, people, and themselves, and also drank blood. This is why Asians drink and eat anything. This is why Asians eat anything raw or anything at all. This is why white people barely season their meat. The taste to them is normal. because it is in their nature. The reason black people season theirs, it is because they are the line of the Israelites, the more human DNA. Therefore, seasoning meat is a must. Plus, the Israelites made an oath with the Creator, and part of the laws, commandments, and statutes was that we are not supposed to drink blood. Remember, sin and evil is anything that goes against the laws, commandments, and statutes. So the reason white people or Asians eat raw food, it is because it is in their DNA. It is a part of their nature. And it tastes pretty damn normal to them. It is also said that Esau had a very funky animal-like scent. This is why you would hear the saying that white people smell like dog when they sweat. This is not racist, just educational.
There are actual demons that run this earth, and they survive by feeding off our negative energy.
I know most humans believe this, but they're actually the nephilim. And the negative energy that they survive off isn't really surviving necessarily, but more like getting a kick out of it. A kick like a big joke. The more nonsense they promote on TV, in movies, and of course using the Illuminati puppet to promote all of their nonsense in the culture, on news, in ads, in schools, it's all because they want us to fail on earth. The more sin we create, and knowing that sin is anything that goes against the laws, commandments, and statutes, the worse we will do on Judgment Day. And if they get humans to act as wickedly as they do, that's a plus. So it's not that they are surviving because they have no need to survive, and because their judgment has already been gone forth, so our judgment man. And in this video, we will be talking about the judgment of the fallen angels and their offspring. You can find this scripture in the book of Enoch, chapter 10. In this scripture, it is talking about Azazel. And on the day of the great judgment, he shall be cast into the fire, and heal the earth which the angels have corrupted, and proclaim the healing of the earth, that they may heal the plague. The corruption being mentioned in this scripture is when angel DNA was mixed with human DNA. The plague mentioned is a plague in the blood. It makes humans act wickedly. It changes their nature. The more angel bloodline you have running through your veins, the more nephilim you are, the more wickedly you will be. But let's continue. And proclaim the healing of the earth, that they may heal the plague, and that all the children of men may not perish through all the secret things that the watchers have disclosed and taught to their sons. When it also says proclaim the healing of the earth, that is the purging of the blood that will be taking place. That is the reason for the Israelites. And when it says that all the children of men may not perish, it is the survival of the human bloodline. The human bloodline was basically invaded by a parasite in the blood that changes our nature. This is why we act wickedly. This is why the Most High gave us the laws, commandments, and statutes so we could stay focused on doing what is right. I would disclose our fate if we do not do right by the Most High. Bain Simjaza and his associates, meaning the angels, who have united themselves with women, who had mixed angel bloodline with human bloodline, bind them fast for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth till the day of their judgment and their consummation, till the judgment that is forever and ever consummated. This means a judgment for eternity. In those days, meaning the day of judgment, they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, and to the torment and the prison in which they shall be confined forever. In other words, their judgment forever, for eternity. But hear this decree. And whosoever shall be condemned and destroyed, meaning who will fail in sin and destroy their own souls with their acts, will from henceforth be bound together with them to the end of all generations. This means you would have the same fate the angels will have, which is the abyss of fire, in prison, and torment forever. This is why the offspring of the fallen angels want us to do horrible upon the earth. This is why they want us to do sin upon the earth. This is why they want us to act as wickedly as they do. It is so that we can have the same fate that they have on Judgment Day. This is a really good question. We all have the mixture blood, but some of us are more human than others. From Seth's line to Noah's line, they were human, but because of what the angels did and corrupted the blood, Noah's wives were also corrupted. And out of Noah's sons, Shem's bloodline was the most human out of the three brothers. And from generation to generation, it kept on filtering. After Shem, it was Abram, more human. After Abram, there was Isaac, more human. Then there was Jacob and Esau. One vessel with more human DNA, the second vessel with more angel DNA. When the Most High created man, man was without sin. Man was good. We didn't eat animals, we only ate fruit. We didn't need to cook our animals. The reason why we still eat flesh, why people still eat the dead, it is because we are still corrupted. But some of us are more human than others. This is why I explained in my video why Asians eat raw and anything, white people barely season their meat, and black people season theirs. Because of the filtering of the blood and the most human. But the angel gene is still within us. We are still corrupted. Again, some of us more, some of us less. A sign of angel traits are white people with ginger hair and blue eyes. And for black people, this is the same with their blue eyes. So when you see a person with green or blue eyes, that is the angel gene showing. Our eyes were supposed to be brown. So the human race was corrupted. The human race had a virus within the blood. Just like movies today show us that there was a zombie apocalypse and it changed the human beings to eat flesh. That's basically talking about us. We are the ones who were affected and now we eat the dead. This is where we live, under a dome, under a containment, under a FEMA camp. This is where we cannot bring our corruption into heaven. This is how the Creator made the earth. The earth was made to sustain humans, to sustain us for the day of judgment. This is why the laws, commandments, and statutes are important. It is to keep our sanity, and so we won't act like wildlings and zombies.